Welcome to the SAP SuccessFactors Best Run Workforce HR Demo Series. Today's session in our webinar series is on talent management. My name is Jessie Labenwolf, and I'm going to cover some brief housekeeping items before we begin. We'll be addressing your questions at the end of the demonstration, but you're encouraged to submit questions throughout the webinar using the Q&A panel on the left side of your console. If you experience any technical issues, please let me know via that same Q&A panel, and I'll help you out shortly. Today's session is being recorded, and we will be sending out a link to the replay of this webinar in the coming days. Keep an eye out for it in your email. Finally, I'd like to highlight some additional resources which are located on the left side of your console. You'll find many assets available that are related to today's topic, as well as some events that are coming up, including the rest of this webinar series. And with that, we're ready to dive in. Today's session will be led by Susie Thomas and Ty Nguyen. Susie is the Solution Marketing Lead for Talent Management, and Ty is a Solution Consultant here at SAP SuccessFactors. Susie, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, just want to confirm you can hear me okay, Jessie? Hello? She's probably muted now. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and get started. Thanks. Thank you. It would just be awful if I presented and nobody could hear me. That would not work very well. So thanks again, Jessie. As she stated, my name is Susie Thomas, and I work on our solution marketing team, and I own product marketing across our talent solutions. And I know everyone's probably pretty eager to see the demonstration, but I do want to take a few minutes to talk to you briefly about unified talent management, what that means, and how we can uniquely solve the challenges that many organizations face today when it comes to attracting, developing, and retaining top talent. So let's talk first about what unified talent management is and what's required to truly integrate talent management processes. And it's pretty straightforward. It occurs when companies coordinate these four core processes: the right people, right things, right way, and right development. You know, oftentimes we see customers try to overcomplicate things or chase the latest fads, and really, we believe there's a simple truth to talent management and what needs to be done. I mean, it's easy to understand, maybe a little bit tougher to put into action to really connect all of these processes and ensure that everyone involved understands the value in all of this. So let's start with the right people. That means asking questions like, are we recruiting the right people that have the right competencies for the particular position that they're applying for? So do those personal attributes match the competencies and goals associated with the job? And are we retaining the right people in those jobs, right? Assessing those people right up front and evaluating against those competencies that they'll be evaluated in during their annual review. Are we focusing the workforce on tasks and objectives that are critical to business success? So that means clearly identifying and communicating those goals you want employees to achieve, and then measuring and rewarding against those goals. And it's no longer a set it and forget it sort of mentality around those goals. In a world with constant change, we need to be continually going in and reviewing and updating those goals to really truly ensure that all of your employees are aligned with your organization's objectives. Then, are we accurately measuring employee performance? Are you delivering effective feedback? Are managers delivering effective feedback, peer-to-peer feedback? Are you making personnel decisions to increase workforce productivity? And that really means, making sure that people are doing the job the right way, and if they're not, they're getting the feedback that they need to really make the necessary changes, and their managers are working with them. And also, people around them are encouraging them to demonstrate those competencies. So that really equals the right actions. But without feedback, people won't understand what they're doing well and what they're not doing well. So that's really important. And then finally, are we providing employees with experiences and resources to create the workforce capabilities needed to not only support the business today, but to support the business in the future as well? So that means creating a work environment that helps employees develop attributes that influence competency performance and their goal accomplishment. Putting people in jobs, assigning them goals so they can acquire those experiences, making sure they have the right learning on their learning plan. And again, not just for today, but making sure that they're developing and growing for the future, that they have the right skills that are necessary for those future roles. And then you can take a look at those people to be nominated for successors, so you can truly plan for the future and be effective at doing so. So we really advocate focusing on these fundamentals of talent management. Now, with SAP SuccessFactors, we have a talent management suite that provides a unified portfolio of talent management solutions. So starting from recruiting, onboarding, performance and goals, learning, comp, and succession and development, and then, of course, underpinned by analytics and planning. And what's interesting is some of our competitors will say, look at putting core HR system, a core HR system in the middle. And our view is a little different. It's not having a system in the middle. It's really having the person or the people and their unique skills and competencies, and really understanding how the workforce is truly aligned to improve business results, understanding your talent. So from a talent perspective, that's how we're set up, and that's what we're focused on. And when we talk about an integrated, unified talent suite, you really can use any of those components standalone if you just wanted to use performance management or you just wanted to use learning. However, I will say that the power is when you use them all together as part of a comprehensive talent management strategy and a suite that we provide. So with our comprehensive solutions, we make sure that they're flexible enough to support any unique mix of talent processes and programs. And I've talked to many customers along the way, and it really is truly a mix. And also what works today might not work in a year from now or 2 years from now for your organization. As we know, things change quickly. So we need to make sure that we can support any of those processes and programs. Our system's also intelligent. We provide intelligent capabilities to make life easier as it relates to any task, whether that's through a candidate experience, employee experience as an individual contributor or manager, or whether that's HR. So looking at things like suggested successors or career roles, recommended learning or intelligent mentor matching. These are really innovative capabilities that are market leading. Also continuous capabilities. So as many organizations are looking at transforming performance management or development, it's really important that you've got the tools to support that on a continuous basis throughout the year, and not just through one form that captures all of those events annually. So our global people platform really offers those differentiated capabilities to ensure exceptional, sorry, I just got a software installer pop up on my window. Hold on one second. Really to ensure exceptional experiences along the way. So whether that's, again, a candidate, employee, or HR, in those key moments that matter, it's critical that they're having positive and memorable experiences. So let's take, for example, the candidate experience. Our candidate relationship management capabilities are uniquely embedded into SAP SuccessFactors recruiting. And this is so recruiters can easily and quickly build targeted marketing campaigns. So they're engaging and nurturing candidates, whether those are internal or external candidates. And with our career site builder functionality, which is really that self-service tool, organizations can simply and easily create custom, fully branded consumer-style emails or landing pages or career sites. Now, for the employee experience, we have capabilities such as the ability to provide and receive anytime, anywhere feedback with our continuous performance management capabilities. And these are delivered as part of SAP SuccessFactors performance and goals. And it really helps to encourage and even facilitate frequent informal dialogue, as well as check-ins with managers and employees, as well as enable continuous coaching and feedback, which we know helps to drive ongoing development and performance. In fact, we have over 1,200 customers using these capabilities today. And then finally, as an example for HR, we have intelligent compensation modeling that's delivered as part of SAP SuccessFactors compensation. So compensation leaders can optimize budgets and make smarter pay decisions. So at this point, let me wrap up and hand things over to Ty as he'll walk through a live solution demonstration. Feel free to put any questions in. I'll monitor that while Ty is going through his demonstration. Ty, over to you.
Great. Thanks so much, Susie. That was a great introduction. And while we start the screen sharing here, I'll just wait for it to come on to the screen for all and give you a chance to see the solution in action. And just to kind of set the stage for, I guess, about the next 40 minutes or so for the demonstration itself, we're really going to focus on those experiences that matter, not only from an employee, but really starting from a candidate perspective, moving through an employee perspective, and ultimately to an HR business partner perspective. Susie, just quick housekeeping. Can you guys see my screen okay from a sharing perspective?
Let me look really quick. Yep, we can.
Okay, fantastic. Well, for those in the audience that are wondering about the form factor on the screen, it might look a little bit different. You notice that it isn't full screen because, in fact, I'm actually presenting from my mobile device. And that's just one of the great ways that SAP is innovating and providing these experiences to those folks when they need it most. And, of course, we all have our mobile devices. And I thought we would have a little bit of fun today and have our demonstration conducted on a mobile device. And we'll switch to the desktop after. So let's start by looking at the moments first that matter for a candidate. So from the time someone decides to apply for the first day, even the first promotion, these are the experiences, the critical moments that affect their overall engagement, productivity, and ultimately tenure. So let's walk through how we're engaging candidates today, both externally and internally, how we can help automate these processes for them, and guiding these candidates to ensure the moments that matter to them are positive and memorable. What I've done is I've taken us to our career site for this organization, our best run organization. Through this career site, it's completely mobile enabled. So what we allow through our career site builder is a truly responsive design. So whether you're looking at this from your mobile device, from your tablet, or on your desktop, it's the same experience. It keeps it consistent, but also very clear and professional, allows you to brand it any way that you like, to really give you the opportunity to put your best foot forward. That includes logos, background images, text, fonts, you name it. You can make it look, breathe, and behave exactly how you want it to. At the top of the page, we're encouraging folks to provide their email address. Maybe they're not ready to apply for positions today, and this is a really great way for you as an organization to keep these candidates engaged long-term through relationship management, through targeted email campaigns, and ongoing proactive dialogue that keeps this talent pool robust and in the loop with the organization. We make it really easy for candidates to browse for jobs, to search for jobs, and also to understand what it's going to be like to join the organization for the first time. What is some of the corporate culture that they can expect? What are some of the benefits that they can also expect by joining the organization? We really want to make them excited, motivated, and happy to start looking at these jobs and maybe even apply for a position. You can market your jobs. You can put the jobs that matter most to you, whether those be operational or strategic, right on the front page. And this allows the candidate to connect to those jobs very quickly. When it's time for a candidate to come in and look for those jobs, we can do this a number of different ways. We can look at the marketed jobs, we can search for positions, and we can look at them in list form as well. You may notice the subtle icons there, how a candidate can actually share these jobs across their social networks. And it's a great way for them to promote the availability of these jobs out to their social networks, whether that be Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, you name it. As I'm scrolling down, I'm getting a listing of the current jobs that we've posted on this external career site. And if one catches my interest, I simply click on that job heading, and I go into the job profile or the job description. Very clearly, we've communicated what are the expectations of this job, the responsibilities. No surprises here. Really, what are some of the job expectations outlined within this, but also other things that they may not be thinking about, such as competencies and skills. These are intrinsic within the organization. They provide the foundation for these candidates to be successful in their roles, knowing that these are the things that they could be working on or possess today that's going to make them successful. Whether it be competency, skills, or both. When they are ready to apply, they simply click the Apply Now button, and that's going to allow them to go in and provide the information they feel is necessary for them to qualify for this job. Now, you notice here I'm providing simply a username and password, and this username and password is really the first step in making you aware of this candidate. The application process can be as easy and streamlined as possible if you need it to be. It could simply provide a username, an email address, something to stay in contact with. But you can also give the option to the candidate to provide their resume or their cover letter, which in fact we digitize and parse for them. And this provides a unique source of information with which you can search on later to identify new candidates. Any other information that the candidate wants to voluntarily elect about themselves, such as previous employment, formal education, language skills, certifications, etc., that can all be made available. What we always say is the more information candidates provide about themselves, the better it is able for you to match them with future jobs that are upcoming. So it's a mutual benefit, both from your perspective, but also from the candidate perspective. What's unique to our organization and to our technology at SAP is that this profile information about the candidate is one profile across our applicant tracking system and also our candidate system. So there's no need to recreate the wheel or reinvent this profile later on. This profile will ultimately constitute their employee record should they be hired for a position that you've advertised out there. That's a little bit from the candidate perspective in terms of the moments that matter to them. They want to make it, they want to experience a site that's easy to read, exciting to engage with, and make it really easy for them to apply for positions that matter. Let's switch gears a little bit now. We'll still stay focused on the candidate, but we'll fast forward a little bit in their experience from the perspective of maybe this candidate has been hired. They've been recently welcomed to the organization, and they're about to start their first week at the Best Run organization. Typically, this is where we think about things such as onboarding, meeting the new team, and taking on the necessary paperwork so that they can really hit the ground running at with their new team and the new organization. What you're looking at now is the SAP SuccessFactors mobile application, which is available both for iOS and Android. Let me just unlock my screen here so you can get back into that. What the mobile access provides for us is all the key productivity tools at our fingertips. So that could be as easy as going into and looking at my existing employee profile. As you recall, all the information that we provided about ourselves as a candidate would flow through here, and that includes my contact information, personal information, and everything else uploaded at that time. Here, I can also come in and look at my profile. I can update my compensation data, even enroll in benefits, and browse my current employment information. I can also meet my new team. So I know that my manager, maybe I haven't actually met them in person yet. I can access his or her profile and see what the best way is to contact them. But you'll also see down below, I have the expanded org chart. And this is a really great way for me to meet my new team, not only from my managers, but maybe my manager's peers and also my new future peers. So this would allow me to reach out to Dave or to Dorothy or to Frank, get a little bit better understanding of who they are, where they're located, and maybe even reach out and touch base and say, hey, I've just joined the organization. It would be great to touch base. Profile data is also where we can take care of our necessary paperwork, so things like enrolling in the benefits, as I said earlier, but also your payroll information, any personal data that may be changing or updated. Let's say we fast forward a year later and we've changed addresses, we've moved. SAP SuccessFactors provides a really easy way for employees to take action on their own and really own that data without getting others involved. Our first days are always loaded with activities and information and new team members to meet. And it's also a great opportunity to get a jump start on the learning activities that maybe we've been automatically assigned to as part of the onboarding process. We can see that these learning items are available on the mobile device in the form of these reminders. We can take a look at what the learning assignments are currently available for myself and even launch these from the mobile device. And this is a great productivity tool allowing you to kind of connect with this content on the go and get a head start on that. I can launch, for example, the basic preparedness course, launch that content, but then also down below mark that as an activity. And that's important. It allows us to capture this as a milestone, flag it as an activity, and even tie this to our personal goal plans that we're working on a continual basis. So the ability to track these goals and activities from day one really ties together both from the learning perspective, the new hire onboarding perspective, and the continuous development perspective. And I can go further into those activities as they start to grow and grow, whether they're based off of a learning item or a personal activity, and flag them as achievements and tie them to my goal plan. As you've seen so far, our solution supports those key moments for candidates and new hires. The experiences in these critical moments really affect the engagement and productivity, and ultimately will affect the decision for them to stay at the best run organization. SAP SuccessFactors helps guide new employees through those moments that matter so that the experiences were all positive. All right, so I'm just going to switch gears now. I'm going to log out as a new hire. And let's go on to the next part of the demonstration, the moments that matter for an employee. Now, this is an individual who is a little bit more tenured in their role. We're going to be creating goals, capturing and sharing achievements, managing feedback, even doing operational things like requesting and approving time off. Now, the employee experience is really defined by those moments as they happen. So what I'd like to do is focus on this and take a look at how simple and intuitive it is to stay engaged and continually develop and grow. And of course, again, we're staying on the mobile application. What better way to do that to get instant access and insight at any moment? You'll see at the top here, our to-do activities are a little bit more comprehensive, again, because this is a team leader and a little bit more tenured and seasoned in their role. Now, these approvals can take many different shapes and forms. They could be operational in nature, such as approving time off and vacation requests, but also strategic in nature as well, engaging in a calibration summary or a performance review. Under our learning items here, you notice that we have more specific learning items assigned to this role. These are learning items that can be automatically assigned by the system according to job role or the position that they've been hired for. I also want to take a look at the learning recommendations. These are recommendations that weren't necessarily automatically assigned to me, but they were provided and suggested by the platform. And this is powered by SAP Leonardo and the embedded machine learning inherent inside the SAP platform. A really great opportunity to take advantage of the innovation and artificial intelligence that we're putting directly in our platform. Just like our new hire, these learning items can be launched from the mobile device and flagged as activities as well. When we go into this particular employee's activity list, you'll notice that there's a lot more content, a lot more activity has occurred. In terms of connecting employees to the feedback that matters to them, this is a really great way for them to take ownership of that. Employees can track these activities over time, tie them to the goals or development goals that matter to them, and also give and get feedback at any moment. So if I go into one of our activities today, we can flag that as an achievement, but we can also request feedback. If this is something that I need a little bit more information on in order to improve, I can reach out across my peer network and request that feedback. Simultaneously, I can also respond to feedback here should others request that feedback of me. It's easy to request, it's easy to give, and ultimately it's all in one place, making it really convenient. We also have topics. Topics are important to raise from an employee perspective as well. Though they might not directly affect their roles or responsibilities today, they are things that matter to the employee. So it's a great catch-all bucket for things that are affecting perhaps their productivity, their mood, or their overall contentment within the role. And it flags it to their managers so that everybody is apprised of the situation. We can keep everybody in the loop and make sure that we're getting that feedback when it matters without letting those issues stray too far away and have them become ignored. At any moment in time, we can also capture a meeting from these activities and achievements. And this flags it and date stamps it April 23rd, 2019. a really great way to come back and revisit what we've done and what has transpired throughout the year without having to get us to that situation in December where we're kind of scratching our heads and wondering, what did we do in April? Real-time, specific feedback and capturing it in the moments that matter. That's really what this is all about. Finally, let's take a look at achievements. So a great way to think of achievements is, what are the activities that really stand out to you? What are the activities and things that you're working on that you're most proud of? You can flag them as achievements here. And not only that, you can tie these achievements back to your developmental goals or your personal goals. This is a great way to say, hey, this is what I'm working on. I did a really good job. I've gotten really good feedback on it, so I'm going to raise this as a discussion point when we ultimately go into that performance review. What it does is that it captures the feedback as it happens. It flags it as an achievement along with the date stamp, but it makes us all more productive in those performance review meetings. They're shorter but more productive, and they're to the point because we were able to share this moment as it happened. I also have access to my goals, speaking of which, so I can go into those goals today and look at, well, what are the performance goals that I'm being measured on as an employee? I can come in and look at what's on track or what's behind, and I also have the ability to edit and update the status of those goals. Any stakeholders that are involved in this goal plan will also be apprised of that update. And if I go all the way back to the beginning, this is where I can also engage in performance reviews, not only for myself, but perhaps for my team members that I'm required to provide feedback on. I can come in, take a look at the automated integrated goals that are coming from my goal library, and also the role-specific competencies that I'm exhibiting in my role. And you may notice the competencies coincide with the candidate competencies. So this can start initially from the hiring process. The role that I've been hired for has these competencies baked in, and it carries on automatically all the way through to my performance management, both from a self and manager assessment perspective. So as we've looked at some of these moments that matter for an employee, whether that be reviewing and updating goals, managing feedback, and engaging in performance reviews, we saw how simple, intuitive, and engaging they were. With SAP SuccessFactors, we're able to get answers quickly and give feedback quickly. This is all critical to ensuring a positive experience in the moments that matter. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit here now, and we'll take a look at some of the things that matter most to HR leaders next. Let me just log in and make sure that we're looking at the right role here. So I'll log in as the same employee. His name is Jeff. And what we want to make sure from an HR leader perspective is that we have the right people in the right place with the right skills. This is some of the most important matters for an HR leader as we prepare for the future of work. And ensuring that they have the visibility into the data today to make those decisions for tomorrow. Data analysis has really become a critical part of enabling transformation across global business processes and industries. So when you use a system that connects, organizes, and guides smarter business decisions, you can support an agile business to stay ahead of the ever-growing competition. Let's take Succession for an example. Jeff manages a large global team, and it's important for him to understand what are the current positions being occupied and who are the successors for these positions, for these individuals, should we have advancements in careers. We can scroll across this succession org chart and really get a great visual perspective in terms of who's in the seat and who might be ready for future succession. Let's take, for example, the digital expert, Jackie Andrina. If we click on her profile, we can understand that we currently don't have any successors. And that's going to prompt us to perhaps identify any new successors that may match that role. When we are ready to add a successor, it will actually search for internal candidates that would match that position well and give us an indication in terms of, do we have the talent in place or do we need to search for additional talent? It's highlighted a few different internal candidates here with which we can add. But if we feel that this talent pool or list of employees isn't quite matching the criteria we're looking for, we can also employ an advanced search. And this allows us to go out, identify other talent out there, add them to a talent pool, and recommend them as successors. We've got a better list at this point, Jada, Ben, and James. And these are folks that just a simple click of the mouse, we can nominate them into this role. We'll start the readiness for now. We can come back and change this at a later point in time if we like, and nominate them. So in real time, Jeff not only measured where the incumbent positions were within the organization, but he was able to identify 3 great successors that are potentially ready for the next role in their career. Others looking in and engaging in this conversation, perhaps in a stakeholder meeting, can look at in real time what's Ben's talent profile alongside Jada's talent profile, alongside James' talent profile. And this allows us to make that decision through collaboration and with data driving that insight. What you can also do is use the talent search, just as we've done to identify successors for Jackie, to build larger, more robust talent pools. So employing the same search, as you can see, looking for things like risk of loss, impact of loss, but other advanced parameters as well, we can flag the same talent and we can add them to what we call talent pools. So we might say James, Stephanie, Ben, and Jada, though they've been identified as successors for Jackie's role, we'll also add them to this talent pool. And that can take any shape that you like. It could be a digital expert specific role or a high potential, leadership, top talent, you name it. We'll pick one such as top talent and go ahead and nominate them into that role. And this allows us to refer back to these candidates later on when we're ready to consider perhaps another succession plan. What you also have available to you is embedded insights. So as you are engaged in these talent discussions and succession plans, bigger picture parameters come into play that may get overlooked as you're so involved in the specific process. We provide these insights right within the portal, right within the processes themselves. So when you're looking at larger key performance indicators around specifically succession, you can look at things like successors by role, by readiness, or most nominated successors. It helps to round out your analysis for today, help provide more information backing your discussion and justification for these changes. And it's something that we provide right within the portal without having you to switch screens or go somewhere else for this valuable insight. Let's also take a look at from a development perspective now that we've identified our successors. In development, this is a great area for us to take ownership of our careers, but also help guide our direct reports and our colleagues in their careers as well. Our development plan here is currently providing our high potential development plan objectives. So these are the things that Jeff is working on from a personal perspective to advance in his career. And they could be to augment the existing competencies that he's exhibiting in his role. And this is something that we can take advantage of the learning curriculum in the system as well. So to say, in order to improve his safety initiatives, we'll go out and browse the learning catalog for any work or safety-related training, guides, or classes. But from a larger perspective, Jeff is interested in what is next for him at the Best Run organization. And that's where we look at the career worksheet. And the career worksheet is a great visual tool to identify where somebody is currently within their role and where they need to get to be better qualified for a future position. So in Jeff's current role today, you'll notice down below, it lists for us the current competencies. But he's identified executive management as a future role that he's considering. This is something that he's been working towards. He's looked at the job role details and understands that this is really what he wants to strive towards. So he wants to identify any gaps that exist today inside his current competencies with the competencies that you see below. Some of them he's over-exceeded. He's done quite well. And others that he needs a little bit more development work to achieve that. He can come back and add additional goals to his development plan or take on additional learning curriculum to help advance in that perspective. To understand what it would take to get here to the executive management position, he can look at the career path. And this displays in visual terms what the path is it takes to get to that current role. And perhaps you're starting from a lower planning position role, from a craft worker, all the way up to executive management. Clear line of sight visibility in terms of what it's going to take to get to that next area. We also provide mentoring as well. What better way to develop in your career than to take advantage of your peers' knowledge, insight, and experience? So our mentoring program gives you a few different options, whether you want to sign up as a mentor or a mentee. But one of the greatest features is the automatic matching capability, matching mentors who have signed up to provide their experience in certain competencies or job skills, and automatically reach out to the employees out there who are looking for that assistance. And you have the ability as an employee to sign up both as a mentor or a mentee, giving your insight or seeking additional assistance there. And this all culminates ultimately into being better prepared for your future careers with your development plan as the working document to help you get there. Finally, let's take a look at compensation. We want to understand as an HR leader what it takes for us to get the right talent in the right positions at the right time, but also how to effectively compensate these employees to help them stay motivated and extend their tenure at the best run organization. I've brought up an example compensation worksheet to give you an understanding of what it takes to build out a compensation plan. All this, of course, is pertaining to a budget, so we have an ability to control and manage these budgets from an individual or team-based perspective. We've got specific approvals in place as well in order for this compensation plan to take effect, so it does have to go through, of course, the managers themselves, maybe HR, and ultimately the compensation planner. The columns that you see here are all customizable. You can have more or less fields, and you can group your compensation guidelines accordingly within this. So, for example, the current pay information, this is the latest performance review or score, and you can see this right within the compensation worksheet. Through this automated integration, we have a better idea of how and when to calibrate our merit suggestions by having this information available at our fingertips. You don't need to go elsewhere to get the latest performance data. The merit guidelines are also set forth within the engine as well. This is a great way that we automate this process for you. By setting the guidelines ahead of time, compensation planners, managers, and HR business partners get guided suggestions in terms of what is in an allowable range for an employee that could be based on performance rating or comp ratio or range penetration, any number of factors. Ultimately, this helps the managers stay on track with the budget that they've set forth within this, allocating the appropriate merit increases within the guidelines suggested by the system. Should your compensation involve country-specific adjustments or lump sums, even equity or MBO-style compensation factors, that's all readily available. And these are things that compensation planners can work on simultaneously in conjunction with each other or as separate processes, really calling out individually salary from equity to variable pay and ultimately from a summary, the total compensation package. Just like our succession planning before, when we're so heavily ingrained and in thought in this process, it can be easy to overlook the bigger picture. With that, we can access the insights once again, and as you noticed, it's filtered out accordingly because we are in compensation to display compensation key performance indicators. Finally, let's take a look at the last component, which is around analytics. Speaking of key performance indicators, SAP provides the best business intelligence reporting tool out there for people analytics. What we've done is we're able to provide a more robust visual interface into the data and allow users to interact with the HR metrics and key performance indicators that matter most to them. As an overall summary, what we've done here is provided the key metrics around workforce composition, business impact, learning and growth, recruiting, diversity, and health and well-being. So you can get a very robust picture of the overall HR landscape, but also from the overall organization's landscape as well. Each and every one of these KPIs can be drilled down into. So if we want to take a closer look at the workforce composition, we can see an expanded view of that key performance indicator, giving us geo mapping capabilities, trending information, and below an interactive heat map, all of which are customizable. We can, as an end user, select different parameters and have the dashboard refresh accordingly. Another great area for us to think about and where SAP is innovating is through the advancement of smart insights and embedded analytics. With our embedded artificial intelligence through machine learning, we can get additional insights about this data. When we're looking at a component such as FTE or headcount, what are some of the questions that we have yet to ask about this information? Our smart insights brings to light those outliers and anomalies and top contributors in terms of the trends that you're seeing in your main data. So we can see the top contributor from a location perspective or from a tenure perspective, and giving us even more ability to explore this information on our own accord. So we started with a high-level metric that indicated to us our trend. We drilled down into a specific time series, and now we have all the available measures and dimensions to really look at this how we wanted to. And with the Explorer view, there's really no ability for you to make a mistake. You can come in and you can drill down, you can drill up, and you can select any data point that you see here in order to satisfy your analysis for the day. This is just one of many different types of views you can build. SAP Analytics provides all the visualizations necessary for detailed analysis, geomapping, trending, charting, you name it. And as I scroll through here, it'll give you a really good idea in terms of some of the possibilities that you can start to visualize your own data with. Whether that be identifying trends, but also correlations between things like course participation rate and revenue, and identifying the success of completing that revenue and the course and contribution to the overall revenue for the organization. And some innovative areas to think about as well, speaking of talent development and retention, a flight risk analysis, and the ability for us to identify what are some of the main contributing factors or characteristics that will influence things like job function or successor readiness, even organizational tenure. So just to recap today's demonstration, we've gone through 3 key experiences or moments that matter. We started first with the candidate perspective, how through a mobile device we're able to browse and apply for positions and move quickly into the onboarding stages as well on that same mobile experience. From an employee perspective, we're able to take charge of the activities and achievements that we're working on, give and get feedback, but also engage in larger exercises, performance reviews, and calibration summaries as well. And finally, we ended with the HR perspective, looking at things such as succession, development planning, compensation modeling, and also now people analytics. That was what I had prepared for today's product demonstration. Jessie, I'll hand the floor back to you.
Thank you so much for taking us through that, Ty. All right, I am going to put up a little poll question for our audience, basically asking if you would like to have a one-on-one demo to further address your needs in pursuit of talent management, to go ahead and hit the Yes Radio button to set up a meeting. It's a great way to get personalized information for your specific company. So I'll leave that up for a few of our questions. So let's get into our Q&A. Our first question, can you set timeframes and reminders for the continuous performance conversations?
Great question. Yes, you can. So you can have the system remind employees when next meeting is coming up, or just a gentle reminder that they've got something to prepare for, and maybe they want to go into the mobile application and update the status of any goals or activities that they've been working on.
Is succession planning role-based?
Succession planning is role-based, so that can take the form a few different ways. Specifically, when you're building out your succession plan, you're typically responsible for your direct organizational unit. But if you have been given the proper authority, maybe you're an HR business partner, you can certainly traverse the organization and plan for a much larger succession plan. Succession plans themselves can be focused on both an individual or person perspective, but also from a position perspective, depending on how you want to roll that out.
All right. Does the system support different types of development plans? We have leadership program and would like to have a high potential development plan separate from individual development goals.
Absolutely, and we almost feel that that is a must. Development plans will take many different shapes and forms. You can have an employee tied to several development plans if you'd like to. For example, a new hire's development plan will probably look very different than a tenured manager's development plan. So it is 100% supported, an important part of nurturing the right talent for their given roles in order for them to aspire to their next role.
Thank you so much. Well, that wraps up today's session. I want to send a big thanks to both of our speakers, Susie Thomas and Tyne Nguyen, and to you, our audience. We thank you for your time and participation. If you'd still like to sign up for a complimentary one-on-one demo with SAP SuccessFactors, you still have time. In a few moments, a voluntary survey will pop up asking for your feedback on today's session, and it includes a way to schedule a one-on-one demo. Again, it's a great way to reach out and ask for that personalized information, as well as to help us shape our future webinars. Just a reminder that today's webinar has been recorded, and we will be sending out a link to the replay in the coming days. We hope that you'll join us next week for our next demo in the series, which will cover succession and development. If you'd like to register for this event, you can use the link that will be provided in the follow-up email with the replay. Again, thank you for joining in today's session. Have a great day.